Roll out the barrel. In this book, we meet a very silly bear who loves honey. He loves honey so much that he's going to try to cheat to get it, but his kids know how to get it the right way. This is him with his idea of how to get some honey. Let's see what happens. Bumble Bear loved honey. So did his kids, Wear and Tear. Lately, however, the honey jars at their cottage were all empty. He was always fishing for new ideas, but his plans always got away from him. I wonder how I would feel if all of my ideas for how to get something went wrong. One day, Wear and Tear were talking about their father's love of honey. Of course, they liked honey too, but they also liked lots of other things cooked by their mother, Gwendolyn Bear. Wear and tear are words that rhyme. What other words rhyme with wear and tear?
Bear and chair.
That's right. But Bumble Bear thought only about honey. Honey, 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 said Wear. That's all he ever thinks about. The other bears like other foods, but Bumble Bear only likes
honey.
That's right. Everything he does to get honey goes wrong, said Tear. If he wants honey so badly, why doesn't he just ask for it? Then Wear and Tear looked at each other and giggled. They had their own idea about how to get honey. They asked Gwendolyn Bear for an empty honey jar. They washed up and put on their best clothes. Then they set out across the meadow. They could hear bees buzzing around their hive. Holding their empty jar, off to the hive they went. When they arrived, Wear tapped lightly and politely on the hive. Politely means in a very nice way. I ask politely when I want something from someone else. Say politely.
Politely.
Mr. and Mrs. Bee, she said, could we trouble you for a little honey? Please, added Tear. A low hum came from the hive. The bees were telling Wear and Tear to help themselves. They reached inside and took a piece of honeycomb, and they said, thank you very much. That night at dinner, there was honey on the table for the first time in weeks. Where on earth did this come from? Asked Gwendolyn Bear. So they told their story. Bumble Bear listened with his mouth open, in surprise. When the cubs were done talking, Bumble Bear said, you simply asked for it? Why is he so surprised that his kids get it so easily?
Because he can't.
He thought for a moment and then said, so will I. The next morning he grabbed an empty honey jar. Wait a minute, he said, smiling. Why not something a little bigger? A can? A bucket? None of them was quite big enough. Why not a barrel, he thought. Here is Bumble Bear with a barrel. A barrel is a large container made of wood. I sometimes see barrels full of food at the grocery store. Everyone say barrel.
Barrel.
He grabbed a barrel and headed down to the hive. He knocked on it when he arrived, but he didn't tap lightly, he pounded. When there was no answer, he pounded even harder. This is so simple, he thought. Roll out the barrel, I want some honey, a ton. Suddenly, the bees began humming along. Roll out the barrel, we'll have that bear on the run. And suddenly he was surrounded by angry bees who wanted to teach him some manners. They stung him. He jumped right into the barrel, shedding his clothing that was full of bees. I think he was probably scared and hurt. Can you think of a time when you were scared? He had bumbled again. He rolled all the way home and climbed out of the barrel in his underwear. Bumble, Bear, and Barrel all start with the same sound. What is it?
Boop.
That same night, though, he was back in his den. He thought, sooner or later, I'll think of a plan to get honey that I won't fumble. What was the plan that he used to get honey in this book? A barrel. Wear and Tear walked in giggling. They told him how they'd visited the hive to get his clothes, and they sang a song to the honeybees. The bees had shared some honeycomb with them for each stanza. That would make Bumble Bear feel better at breakfast. The end.